going on? How you guys doing? I have another day off. This is the slowest winter I've ever had since I started driving trucks. This sucks. So, I figured I'd come in the greenhouse and I'd put some trellis netting up. You want to see why? Check this out. So, here's the cucumbers. They're getting long, right? Look at these. So, and they're already starting to put out flowers. So, if you guys watched my channel last winter time when I did this, the second winter I've had a greenhouse in my basement. So you got the greenhouse, plastic drop sheets all down. It's like 12 feet long. I don't know, 7 or 8 feet wide. Last winter time we put trellis netting up across here. And we grew 8-foot tall tomatoes and other stuff up there. So what we're going to do today is, how it works is like this. I've got 5-gallon buckets full of hydro sand, which is a really fine particulate sand. And there's water in there. We have 7-foot T-posts. Okay. Did them on both sides. And we just push the T-post through the neck all the way down to the ground. These buckets weigh, give or take, about 70 pounds. So they don't move very easy. So what we're going to do is, where'd it go? Come on, light. There we go. We have trellis netting. This is which one is this? 5 by 15 or 6 by 15? Okay, it's a 5 by 15. Okay, so we're going to string the trellis netting between that T-post and that T-post. And I've turned the bucket sideways. Okay, so we're going to attach the T-post to here. And the reason I've turned it sideways is I want a bit of space between the wall and the trellis netting, so, you know, plants can move around in it and I get sunlight to penetrate. And then, if you see up here, see, I've hung hooks all the way down. And where there are no hooks, I have strapping in the ceiling. So I'll just undo the screw, put the trellis netting under the strapping, and then I'll just put the screw back in. So we're going to hang that all the way across. And then we're going to use zip ties to zip tie the trellis netting onto the T-post. And there is 6 cucumber plants in here. But you can see this little one right here isn't doing so good. And I wasn't sure how many of these were actually going to take when I transplanted them. So I planted all 6. I'm thinking that I really don't want to have to deal with 6 cucumber plants because these are pickling cucumbers. So they're really prolific. On top of that, I'm probably going to have to hand pollinate all the flowers. And if I have 6 plants with, 100 friggin' flowers on each, I'm never going to get around to hand pollinating all of them. I bought special paintbrushes to hand pollinate. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by hanging all that trellis netting. And then what I'm probably going to do, is I'm probably going to remove every second cucumber plant out of here. But, I mean, as you can see, I need to hang them because they're already putting out all the tendrils and they really want to start growing. And I need to get sunlight onto the plant. Well, I need to get light onto the plant. And then another problem that I will eventually run into is this. Okay, look, I'm at the T-post. Okay, I've got that one light halfway, and no matter how high I bring it up to the ceiling, because it's on like a ratchet strap, or a ratchet sort of contraption, is that anything growing here is not going to get adequate light. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Johnny's Genetics, and he's got the spot that sponsored me for these 2 lights that I have now. I think what I'll probably do is I'll take this light, I'll let the cucumbers grow up a little bit, and then I'll take that light and I'll move it farther down to about here, and I'll get another one and I'll put it up here because it's tiny, right? It's only as thin as a pane of glass, and it's what, 12 inches by 16 inches. It's super small. So, but it works awesome. It's full spectrum, right? You got to have full spectrum if you're going to grow anything with flowers as opposed to, you know, just lettuce and stuff. So that's the plan. So we'll deal with the light after. For right now, I just want to get the trellis netting up. Look at that. We're making good progress. Got it all strung up across the top. Up here, I used a, where'd it go? Oh, yeah, back there I just use a cable tie instead of just putting another screw in because it was just as easy. So we got it side to side. We got all of our extra hanging down there. We'll deal with that when we get there. And next is going to be attaching this to that. All right, so I've been using trellis netting like this for years, and there's a couple of tricks that make things easier for you. When you're installing it on T-posts, using your zip ties, they don't have to be these big ones. But I just like these big ones better. What you want to do is, you know, you basically want to space them out. I'm going every 2 squares, right? Every 2 squares. And figure out where there's a horizontal piece when you pull it down tight, okay? Then install like this and make sure that you pull that square down past the hole, and this is what's going to keep all the tension on your trellis netting. Because if not, and you just tie it somewhere, let's say up in the middle, it's going to move around, right? So then when I move down, so we're going 2 squares at a time, right? Let's go down 2 squares, put like that. So I'm going to go down 2 squares, and then I'm going to pull that one down to below that hole. And you see how it's tightening. Hang on, let me move this back. Move around the camera. Do you see how it's starting to make everything square? Okay. That's the trick on how to get everything square. Is always pull it. This stuff is fairly stretchy, right? It's nylon. So pull it past the hole where you want it, cable tie it, and then it'll hold it there, and everything will be in nice straight lines for you. Like this. We'll do it again. Bring it down through the hole. Tighten up your trellis netting. There. You see? Nice and straight. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to do the last, hang on. I'm going to do the last little bit. And then when I get down to here, because there's no holes, what I'll do is I will just bring this down tight, and I will just wrap a cable tie around the entire T-post, and I'll pull that real tight. So I'm going to finish this side, and then I'll get to that side. That side's going to be a little more complicated because, as you guys can see, we have all the extra. So not only will I have to try and run it straight and tight, I'm also going to have to do that and contend with all of the extra that's just hanging down. We got her done. What do you think? Nice and square. See how I told you? Because there's no hole here, we would just put a cable tie on it, and look at how tight that is. Okay? You don't have to worry about over tightening this stuff. It takes a ridiculous amount of abuse. I mean, I run 35-foot lengths of trellis netting outside in the summer with 40, 50, 60 tomato plants on it, on one thing, with T-posts obviously to help it. But I mean, this stuff is awesome. Just don't ask to see the massive pile of used trellis netting that I have in a bag over there. It's a nightmare to try and sort out after you take it down. But anyways, I digress. So, see, that's the bottom. It's tight. You want this tight all the way up. Okay, because as your plants grow on it, it's going to put weight. And if you leave this all limp, it's just going to pull the whole thing down. So you want it tight right off the bat. So we got the bottom. I got to be careful every time. Every single time I stand up, I got to watch out because I've cranked my head right here. Where is it? There. Right here on these corners of that big light. I've done it far too many times. So we're almost flat across the bottom. It's pulled up a little in the center, and that doesn't bother me at all. And then over here, crawl under the light. Don't smash your head. There we go. So we've done the same thing here, and all I did is because I didn't have a hook in the ceiling, I just detached it with a cable tie. Tight, see, tight, tight. You can hear it all the way down. Same thing at the bottom as I did on the other side. And then I've just got the loose trellis netting hanging down here. So I do have enough, if I decide to run it down this back wall here. And I may do that because I was thinking of growing sugar snap peas, and just having the sugar snap peas on the back wall would be pretty easy to do, and it wouldn't get in the way of anything, right? So I may do that. I don't have another bucket, but I have more T-posts and wood. Like, I've got just wood sitting up in the rafters. I could easily just attach a piece of wood here and put the trellis netting on it if I decide to go that way. But that's not today. This is the end of today's project. And next is trying to figure out what I'm going to do with those. Also, because I don't want them right in the middle, right? I want them either on that side, the cucumbers, I mean, I either want them on that side or that side, because I haven't shown you guys this yet. So here's the blue chocolate tomatoes I was telling you about, the really good ones. We've got some peppers going on. They're doing all right. Look at those. Those are happy little peppers. We've got cilantro, and then these are sugar lump cherry tomatoes. So the plan is to put 2 tomatoes in every pot. I've got some fabric pots and some other big plastic pots I'm going to fill with soil. And I'm going to trellis those up here as well. So I don't know if I'm actually going to grow 8 tomato plants, because realistically, once those cherry tomatoes start putting out fruit, there's going to be a lot. So I may just do 2 cherry tomato plants in like a fabric pot. I've got other sizes. That's a 5 gallon. I've got 7 gallon, 10 gallon, 15, 20, and 35 gallon. Johnny's Genetics was having a sale, so I bought a shit ton. Can't go wrong when you're paying like $1.25 a piece. So, but I do need to be able to trellis the tomatoes up there, and then the blue chocolates I also have to trellis. So I don't know if I want the cucumbers in the middle and tomatoes on either side, or if I want all the tomatoes generally in one place, right? And then the cucumbers can just spread out and take a whole big chunk. So I got to have a think on it. Have a smoke and a think. So, oh, also, we've got this. Here's the Genovese basil. The parsley is just coming up. The 3 types of lettuce here never came up, so I'm going to replant them. And then here's the other lettuce that came up. And the spinach came up, but it died because it doesn't like this super strong light. So that's something else I'm working on. I might just replant them and then just put them somewhere under the smaller light. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. I tried to keep it short, but you know, sometimes I just talk too damn much. So, have an awesome day. Grow your own food like that. You can do this. You know, you could literally grow that under something like this. This is about $250, $300, and you could literally fill a whole wall like this of cucumbers. So, or horseradish, or oregano, or tomatoes. We're going to be growing peppers. You know, grow your own food. Don't be so reliant on the government and the grocery stores. Okay, guys, have an awesome day. See ya.